Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Fairly Decent Podcast. I'm your host, Jason. As always, I got CJ with me.
Yes, sir. What's
CJ
going
the
on? What's
Prophet.
going on?
Man, it's 2025, and we've taken a little break, and I know we continuously on this podcast, take a little breaks, but it goes all back into this idea of we want to put out the best product possible, and so we're not just gonna put stuff out just to put stuff out.
Yeah.
We're genuinely this 2025 upcoming year, like we're going to hyper focus on the content and what it's focused on, and making sure that everything makes sense. And I think we've found this kind of groove, in this podcast space, because this podcast space is very large now. Like, there's a lot of people who podcast, and there's a lot of people who do this and do it with maybe a disservice. And that's just my opinion. Some people, they just do stuff just to do stuff, and that's not what this podcast is about. It doesn't matter if I put out 12 podcasts a year, that's once a month. I want to make sure that everything that we do is, genuine to everything that we're talking about. I want to make sure that everything is in line with everything we're working with. And whether that means guests, no guests, I mean, it's a roll of the dice. And we're literally just playing the game at this point. And, so I appreciate everybody that has stuck around.
Yeah, for sure.
And everybody that, again, we took a dip in views, and I'm okay with that because it is what it is. When I came out of, the hospital and this podcast thing really first started, it was a big deal to me to speak on my experience, and so I'm going to continue to do that. But with my experience, it comes with challenges that is hard to swallow sometimes, and that's just the fact of the game. And I'm always going to be transparent on this podcast. I'm always going to be looking to help somebody else. I mean, that's what this podcast was built on. So I mean, in 2025, we're totally focused on battling new challenges, and just figuring out a way to incorporate this thing that we do here with some of the other stuff that we have going on, whether it be the clothes or whether it be the music or like any of that stuff. Like, just trying to find our groove to where everything like makes sense all together. And it's a learning process, and
it is.
This podcast is a little over a year old, and in 1 year, again, I can't thank y'all enough for sticking around and kind of just seeing like what we have going on, and kind of getting the vision, and it at most like just understanding. And that's the big part of the game, is like understanding. I want people to understand, like, this shit is not always going to be flowers. Like, there's going to be some times where it's concrete, and it's going to be hard. And I just appreciate everybody that stuck around. So going into like 2025, I want to bring up the topic of like dealing with like struggles, and like what's your new focus, like 2025, like dealing with these struggles that have already been presented or carried over like from 2024.
I think my new focus, bro, is like just my mindset through it all, because it's like I've been going through so many struggles last year, and like the one thing that is consistent is that I always make it through.
For sure.
So it's like it's easy to lose sight of that when you're going through certain things, especially when things are just like piling on. But like, if you still like remain like positive and just like be thankful for the things you do have, that's like really where I've been mentally lately, and just focusing on that. Like, pushing through and just I just feel like if you maintain that mindset, it makes it more clear to navigate, through those hard times. So I'm trying to really make that a way of life and like not lose that, because I'll say that, but then I'll lose that for,
and that's like the realism that I want to bring is like, it's a lot easier to, I would say, just say things. Yeah. It's easy to say things, and then it's another thing to like do them. And this past year has been such a roller coaster as far as like last year felt like maybe like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it did.
Like
I feel like I lived 3 different lives in 1 year last year.
And like, so I wanna bring realism like back to this podcast, and like you have to understand, like, we are all human at the end of the day. Yeah. And like we all do things and we make mistakes, and we make some good choices, and so like both can like coexist, but like this whole thing is going to be like totally raw, totally real, like 2025. But no, I'm glad to hear that, at least there is a mindset, because a lot of people go into these things and they don't really have a mindset, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Like they just kind of, again, just to say things, and then they say things and never really act upon it. So it's good to see that there's other people who have a mindset. Yeah. Like, do you feel like clearer in this year, or like?
Yeah, I definitely do, man. I feel like I had to go through like the worst times, which I believe I went through my worst times last year.
You think so?
Yeah, I really do. Like it was rough. I had a really rough 2024, y'all. Like a lot of y'all don't know what I've been dealing with, but it's been rough. But like I feel like I had to go through all of that, and like during all the craziness and like depression and stress I was going through last year, I was like, my focus is to just enjoy the moment. Yeah. And that was my focus last year. Granted, the music was popping and everything, but I was going out so much more. I was drinking so much more. I was just like, yo, I'm just gonna just have fun right now. Like that's all I got. You know what I mean? And like I felt like I had to go through that in order to get through that and know what that feels like. And it's like, all right, now it's time to lock in. And I think that's where I'm at. Like, so to answer your question, yeah, I feel like super clear on what I need to do, and like I see the path again.
Do you feel like going out is like overrated at this point?
I mean, I guess it depends on what your lifestyle is. Yeah. If you're a bachelor and you just work and you go to work and that's it, I mean, I don't see it as overrated. But if you got goals and like stuff you're trying to get done, then yeah, it's definitely overrated. Because like to be doing all the time, like
I feel like it's become like, and I'm not saying us. This is like totally just outside, like looking in. But like a lot of people get stuck in like a cycle of like just going out, and like that's the thing they do. They like go do whatever they do, and then they just like shut that off, and then they just go out, and then when they go home they shut that off, and then they have to like rebound like for the next day, and that shit just like,
bro, that was me. That was me last year. Every day.
Yeah.
Every day I was stuck in that cycle, like seriously. Yeah. And it's real. Like, but I mean, I guess it depends on your mindset. Like it definitely is played out to an extent, but if you're just on some, y'all just want to enjoy life, and that's it. And I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? As long as you get, taking care of yourself and getting stuff done, I wouldn't say it's overrated in that aspect. But
I guess overrated is a weird word. I meant like more like
played out, like
it just seems like sometimes, and again, what you said is perfect, and that it's all about your mindset. But like when we go out, like usually the mindset of like the people we like are around is like a totally different mindset, because like we do have like these goals, and we have like, and like when I say the cycle, that's what I mean. Like there's a lot of people who just like don't have like goals, and like that's the routine. It's like go to work, go out, you know what I mean? Like get off, go back to work, and that whole thing. So I mean, I don't want to say like overrated, but like it's like a hindrance.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, unless that's all you want. Like if you don't want more and that's it, then I think there's a lot more people like that than we realize.
That are being hindered, or
No,
people
not
that are just okay with.
yeah. People that are just okay with like this is what my life is, you know. And so I think there are more people that are that way than we realize,
Yeah.
and we obviously see things differently.
Yeah.
Because we're creatives or whatever the case may be. But,
Yeah.
you know, I think some people are just like that. I don't know if it's a hindrance for them. I know for me, it's definitely a hindrance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
But,
like for me too. Yeah, I would say like it's definitely, and I mean I'm in no position to like be like a part of that. But it is what it is. But do you think it like so we're gonna like talk about maybe like our artist friends. Like, do you think that if we're gonna tie everything in together, like we're talking about goals and we're talking about like all this new year, all this, and like, do you think like some people that how do I say this? Like, do you think it hinders some of the artistic like ability of like some of the people that really have like maybe like the saw like the juice or whatever like do you think it hinders like some people's ability?
I do. It depends on how long you stay in that cycle. Because there is an inspiration you can find in living that lifestyle for a little while.
For sure.
You know, there's things that you can come back with, which is kind of, I feel like that's where I'm at. There's so much I can talk about musically or creatively.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a hindrance if that's all you're doing and you're letting that like overshadow you actually sitting down and like really like effectively getting to work, I would say. Because some people go out and do all this stuff and then go to the studio for a little bit, just do whatever, and then go back to the like. There's no like real effective creativity going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like all for nothing almost. Like
yeah.
You do all that and then
and then go
at
crash
the end
out.
of again go crash out. Yeah. Speaking of crash out, congratulations on
appreciate it, dog. Appreciate it.
That's one of my favorite records of yours. For sure. Tell me how that kind of came about.
Yo, so it's actually a Flying Lotus beat, and it comes on my Pandora all the time. Yes, I still listen to Pandora, but a lot of people try to play Pandora, but I still listen to it.
Whatever, wherever you can get your music. I don't
That's
give
what
a
I'm
fuck.
saying. But that beat always comes on, and I was driving down to Newport News going to hoop one morning, and then but I was driving home to go hoop, and then that beat came on, and then I just started rapping the verse from Rather You on it. And then the whole rest of the day, the song was just in my head. And then I went out, I forgot what night it was. I went out and I was out until like close at like hot. And then that night I just came home and like found the beat, downloaded
Crashed
it,
out.
and literally wrote it right there, like sang it, did everything for like 2 hours. And I finished at like 4 a.m. And I was like, oh, this is done. And then I was like, yo, I'm putting this out. And I put it out in like 2 days. Yeah. It just came out of nowhere. Literally came out of nowhere.
I think since it's came out, I think if I go look at my like analytics, I think I've used it 7 times.
Really?
Since it's been out.
That's crazy. And it's only been out for like a week, maybe a little over a week.
And I showed you earlier, like when I posted my story, I was like, I really like this shit on the front, and just like scroll it like all the way to the front and just like let that like whatever it is, like 20 seconds or whatever, like that first like
it just sets the mood. But no, I really was putting that song out just to put something out at the end of the year, and then like it's gotten way more like feedback. There's been write-ups on it and stuff, and I'm like, oh, like I wasn't intending for I just wanted to put something out, and it's just crazy how that happens. Like the song came to me out of nowhere, did it, and then it's like people love it, which is
like kind of like it's kind of like my mindset for like new music this year, because like the way that this shit is like so available, and the way that this shit is like just anybody can do it, like this new like music landscape is so different than like when we were making music like 15 years ago. Like you had to really put something out.
Yeah.
Now it's like, yo, you can literally just like single everybody to death like all year long. Like, do you think that like is a good or a bad thing?
I'm kind of indifferent. I don't see it as a bad thing. I don't see many things as a bad thing besides like big picture stuff like social media and that that game, like the analytic game, but like I don't see it as a bad thing. I feel like sometimes you don't want to think about putting a whole project or album together, and it's cool to just be able to. It's cool to be able to put out just a song. I feel like
For sure.
I think it's a good thing, honestly.
I
That
mean,
is kind of how the game is now. And just drop
that's
a
what I meant.
single.
Like, because the landscape is so different. Like, we're gonna go like into like Pack of Lucy's, and this
Right.
is not a CJ interview. This is a
No,
conversation.
yeah,
But
this is what we do.
But yeah, this is what we do,
Mhm.
and this is the conversations that we actually have. Like, do like going into 9.
Mhm.
Do you plan on like putting any singles out first, or is it just gonna be
No, it's just gonna. I'm gonna just keep doing it the same way I've been doing it and just drop it. I don't want to single it. Yeah, no. I'm gonna just put it out like I normally do. I'm just gonna go harder with this one, so I will kind of treat every song on it like a single, actually.
okay? That's
'Cause,
what I meant.
you know
It's
what I mean?
like
Like I'm gonna put it out, but like we're gonna visual every song, and when we do the visual, we're gonna push that song from the album, and then the next visual, like we're gonna treat each one like a single. But as far as like, you know how you put a single out before the album, you know what I mean, where you could pre-order it and get the certain single or whatever. Like I'm not gonna do that, but I guess on the back end, I will treat every individual song like a single
yeah,
per se.
um, yeah. I just think like it's it's so difficult in this like day and age to like genuinely put out stuff you care about because it has to come like with so much extra stuff.
Mhm.
Like everything has to come with something.
Yeah,
Like it can never just be.
like just the music, just the product. Like it has to be so much more. You
You
gotta
have to have a visual. You have to have a whole like
yeah.
Instagram reel.
But now it's
rollout.
like reels and like
Yeah,
I gotta put a song of me rapping a verse from, put a reel of me rapping a verse of the song and like putting lyrics up on the thing and like that's just it's so tiring. Like I just don't really care for all of that. Like it's so annoying. Like if you're gonna do a visual, let's just do a visual. But I don't want to do 20 different reels for
for the same song.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know that's what it is, man. I know that's the game, but like I don't care for that
But-
at all.
I'm gonna speak as a friend at this point. Are you sick of the Lucy's, man?
No,
No.
no, not at all. I love it. I love the process of it. I love that it's so feature heavy. So like the process of like linking with different artists, whether it be the homies or someone new, like I genuinely love it. I would go all the way to 20, but I know I need to stop at 10 because
I would never let you do that.
yeah, it's
Well,
time.
it's
to-
your decision, but I would never. I would be like,
let me. It's
no,
crazy.
I'd be like, I'd take your studio equipment and just lay out.
Nah, I need to. I'm gonna stop at 10 because
Yeah.
there's so much more I want to do musically.
And I think-
than the Lucy's. But
I only say that because I think you are in a space where you're like genuinely deserving of an album,
yeah.
like a true album.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're on 9, going on 10. Like
yeah.
it, you're deserving of like sitting back for a second and like genuinely putting an album together.
Yeah.
And like I know an album that you could put together, and that's why I say it's like as a friend, like is it not exhausting? Like don't you just want to like put an album together?
Yeah. I mean, I've already started on it, and I mean that's what Evolve was to me. That was I put a lot of time into that album. I still feel like I'm learning. Like after doing, I did like 4 Lucy's, then I did Evolve, and then like it's just like a learning process. And I think going now to 9 and 10, I'm still learning so much more. If you like start to really listen on the later Lucy's, like I'm singing a lot more, which is what I really want to start to do. And I feel like I'm just sharpening my sword. And I think getting to 10 is gonna, when I finish 10, I'm gonna feel fully ready to like engulf myself in a real album or like an actual conceptualized album. But I'm not tired of it. I just think it's literally just sharpening my sword right now. You know
For
what I
sure.
mean?
No,
I'm
same
enjoying it. I love the entire process. I keep looking at my whiteboard because I'm just like
Yeah,
looking at it. Like I'm so excited for 9. Like
yeah.
I love this shit, bro.
I think that's yeah. I mean that's a good answer because I think all of us at the end of the day are, you know, we know what we deserve and we know where we're at, and
Yeah.
like there's two different ideas to the concept of, you know, what you like perceive yourself in the future as reality.
Hmm.
And so like going into 2025, like one of my big things has been like, you know, we're gonna do a podcast a week.
Yeah.
um I would love to get um sponsors for the podcast.
Hmm.
I would love to, you know, have more people on and have non-music discussions. I
Yeah.
want to have, you know, I mean, last night we we potted with the mics off and
Yeah. For like 2 hours.
for like 2 hours.
It was some great conversation.
Yeah,
Y'all
and so
really missed that one.
like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do, and you know, so I'm just curious to like everybody out there and to you, like what's some of the stuff on this year that you really want to like really want to accomplish?
I haven't really sat back and thought about it too much just yet. Like right now, I'm just in music mode, and I think this year, like really looking at it now, I'm just looking at this whiteboard because like it's so much laid out right now.
For sure.
I think I just want to like literally give my all to music this year, like just completely commit to music, you know, and obviously the content and stuff. And then I've got my podcast that I'm gonna branch off and do a little bit here and there, but
Let's
like
go.
I just want to fully commit to music this year. Like everything I do, I'm creating, I'm putting out stuff. I want to put out a ton of music this year and just see where that goes, where I don't like get distracted by certain things and go do other things and then have to come back to the music. Like if I just fully stay in music this year as much as I possibly can, I want to see where that takes me. Cause like last year I got really far and I took a lot of breaks, but like, and there was a lot of shows. So like, what does it look like if I just like turn that up like 4 more notches, 5 more notches? Like I want to see where that looks like. I'm curious to see where it goes.
Nah, I mean that's kind of like exactly where I'm at too. Like, I mean, last year was like
Yeah, it was crazy
absolutely insane.
on so many levels, bro.
Would
So
you
many
change
levels.
anything like from last year?
Yeah, couple of personal things. Definitely some personal things. I don't regret anything, but
No.
I just went through a lot of personal things. And
Yeah,
like, if I can definitely change some of those things, I would have,
for sure.
just to avoid having to go through some of the stuff I went through. But you know, everything happens
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to happen. But
No, I mean, I was thinking about it, I guess on Thursday,
yeah,
that like I would definitely go back and like change a couple things, like
Yeah.
some of the people that I let into my life,
Mhm.
and like some of the people that, you know, I gave trust in,
Yeah.
and a lot of people that you know, the idea sounded good, and then like it just turns out like somebody was just like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like not feeding you bullshit, but like
right,
just not ill intentions, but just different.
right, yeah.
But
Just
yeah,
weren't on the same path as
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
yeah, like, and I would definitely go back. But I also like I met a lot of people in 2024 that I will cherish forever.
yeah, for real.
Like, there's a lot of people that are definitely cut off, but there's definitely a lot of people that, you know, I see a future in, and I see like bright skies ahead, and
Yeah,
maybe that's a fault of my own. I don't know. I mean, we always talk about like between you and me, we're probably like the two like most loving
yeah.
like people of all time. So like
Facts.
we get used and abused like this shit is nobody's business. But
That's the game.
go back and, you know, maybe not let some of these people in my life
Yeah,
who talked a lot of great things and then ended up just, you know,
yeah,
abandoning you.
for
But
sure. Yeah, it's just a part of the process, man.
It's part of the process.
Yeah,
How was your Christmas?
it was good, man. It was nice and quiet. It was real quiet. It was very chill.
Yeah.
Hung out with the family, and then everybody was dozing off by 2 p.m. So like we all just was like, all right, man, Merry
All right,
Christmas.
bye.
Yeah, and then I came home and like went to bed. So
Word.
it was cool. It was nice and quiet and mellow, no stress. So it was cool.
Well, I want to shout out my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Ma.
Hey, Mom. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
It's fucking crazy. Her birthday is on
On
Christmas.
Christmas, yeah, that's wild.
Like, in what scenario would anybody be born on Christmas?
I would be so upset, yo.
On what's end?
Just the fact that I don't have my own day, like I have to share it with.
Yeah, so you'd be like on my mom's end.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
but like, it's also kind of lit. Like,
yeah, kind of. But I mean, I wouldn't. I'm how she feels. Like I don't want it to be about me. It's about everyone else, right? Like I would want to have my own day.
Yeah, shout out to Halloween. That's a rough spot to be in.
Yeah.
Because like, people always ask like, "What did you get your mom for Christmas?" And I'm like, "Well, I got stuff for her birthday."
Right.
And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, like my mom's birthday is on Christmas." They're like, "I mean, surely not." I'm like, "No,
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, it's on December 25th." Yeah, shout out my mom, man. We had a good Christmas too. Man, I got so fucking rattled this year.
Really?
Yeah, because we always do scratcher tickets, and
True.
and like for every year for the past like I would say a decade, 10 years, I've hit like cash money, and this year I was like everybody got theirs and they started scratching. And everybody's like winner, 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 and like I'm gonna do all mine last.
Right.
Like I'm gonna just chill, like keep
Let
the
them
vibes
have it.
going with the music and all that. And so everybody's like bing, 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 like hitting winners. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm about to lace this shit. All 6 of my tickets, dead.
Damn.
$0.
That's tough.
Yeah. And so like my mom's like, woo, I won 60. I was like, that's a random number, 60?
Right.
I mean, not like 50 or like 25 or 20.
60.
60? Yeah, STY. I was like, true. But yeah, I got laced on the Christmas.
Damn.
On the Christmas presents. But Christmas was awesome. It was the first time that I hate to say this, but the first time in a long time that I was in a clear-headed space. Like last year, I was like really fresh out of the hospital and like really jacked up on like liver medication and like all kinds of stuff. And this year was the first year that I like actually, you know what I mean, was like able to be a human being at Christmas. And that shit really messed me up. Like shit really felt good. And
That's
like,
amazing, bro.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like I don't know any other way to describe it, but like it literally like I was like not a new person, but I felt like my actual self.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was one of the greatest feelings ever. So shout out to my family,
I love that, bro.
Jess, Mom, Dad, everybody. Thank you for being by my side, and thank you for understanding, and thank you for you know, just being there when I needed family.
Yeah.
Because CJ is my family, but sometimes family is different than family, and like I really needed my family during that time, and yeah, you guys really helped put gas in my tank and really push the gas forward. So thank y'all for that. I just wanted to go off on a little.
Yeah, man, that's amazing.
Congratulations.
It's crazy how life happens, bro. Because like my Christmas was actually the opposite this year. Like as far as my mental, like I did not feel like myself. You know what I mean? Like Christmas was very different this year. This was my first Christmas like being alone, which was different. You know, this is the first time in years where I was like alone. If you know what I mean, alone on Christmas, and then like also. My grandmother passed last year right after Christmas, so like it was very emotional. Like my mother was having kind of a rough time, and I seen that she was trying to push through. But even going down home, like I just didn't feel like myself.
Yeah.
It was so weird. And then, you know, my brothers brought drinks and stuff over. I didn't drink. I was just like, oh, I don't want to drink. I don't want to. It was just weird. It was such a weird vibe, man.
Yeah.
Like it was really a rough year for me last year. But all in all, as well, I'm thankful for my family. Like they know what I'm dealing with, and like they made it a point to like give me love and like
Yeah.
you know let me know that they were proud of me, and you know they prayed with me over you know at Christmas and stuff. So that was great. But I just brought that up to say like it's just crazy how life shifts and like
It does, man.
as you were having an incredible clear Christmas, which I'm so happy to hear. You know,
Yeah.
mine was sort of on the opposite, and like I mean, obviously I feel a lot better today, but like you know, it's waves and it's ups and
Yeah.
downs. But like this was the first Christmas where I was like, bro, I got nothing. Like
Yeah.
I got nothing. You know what I mean? But it was good to be around the family.
Always.
You know?
And like, you know, it's okay. It's okay to be in that space too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
because um at least for us, like we have people around us
hmm
that like no matter what care for us. And you know, we could be going through the worst times and you always have me, like you always have your
yeah,
circle of brothers, you always have your actual family, like
for sure.
and that in itself is like the 2025 that I'm like trying to bring in. Like all of this other shit that we do out here is just extra like borrowed time. Like we genuinely like we wake up and you know we like think about like all of these things and you know all of that stuff is just extra to the time that like we're actually like given,
Yeah.
you know, like
hmm
w- w- none of this stuff matters.
Mm-mm.
None of this stuff matters.
Nope, not at all.
But like of course some of it matters, but like at the end of the day, like I don't know, I might have to chop this in a certain way, but like all of this stuff is just extra to the life that we're given. So like just be happy like with what you have. Like that's how I'm trying to live my life from now on. Is like I don't, so what? Like so what you do this or you do that or like so what? Like if at the end of the night like you can like lay your head down and like be cool with who you are and like have a group of people around you that love you and
Yeah,
like all of the other stuff is just extra.
it really is. But it's just you know everybody thinks they have to like be of a certain social status. So I think that's where we get lost, and I think a lot of people, especially in the music field,
For sure.
I think that's where we get lost. But again, all of that is it's just extra. Like, what are you doing for the person to the left or right of you? I think that's what's most important. So
And for
definitely,
yourself. What are you doing for yourself?
yeah, that too. Like, are you really genuinely trying to take care of yourself?
Yeah.
And I don't think we ask ourselves that
I think
enough.
that was my I think that was one of my biggest problems you know with my like alcoholism and like with um you know this mental space that I was in. I was like if I just project a certain way, nobody will ever ask how I'm doing on the inside.
hmm
Like if I just project like a certain thing, it won't matter like how I'm actually doing like when I go home. So like there's never the conversation of like, yo, are you doing okay? Like
Yeah,
as long as I project. But like now, like as long as I have my group of friends and I have my family and you know, of course I'm trying to get paid.
yeah.
Don't ever get that shit twisted. I'm trying to really get out here and get paid. But all of this extra shit is just borrowed time, man. This shit is not like that Instagram and followers and views and
Yeah.
all that shit is for nothing.
hmm
It's for nothing. All that shit is for nothing.
Nothing is like owed to you, and I think a lot of people are like walking around as if like they're owed certain things.
Yeah.
Like you're not. You are already given what you're owed, and that's like the life and this time. So like make the most of it. You know what I mean? And like do right by you and the people around you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody owe y'all nothing.
I want to do this podcast, and make it something that we can start the year off with, so that like 6 months from now we can go back and look at it.
Yeah.
And of course, we're gonna chop all this shit up. Like all of this stuff is gonna be segmented, but
Word.
yeah, it's just. I wish we would have had the microphones on last night, because what we were talking about last night was.
Yeah, no, we got to it. It was some good conversation. We might just have to like.
Just do it again.
Yeah.
Just put it back on and do it again. What are you looking forward to, like 2025?
I don't know, man. Just being a better me. Like I'm looking forward to like getting back in shape, taking care of myself, focusing on my health. You know what I mean? And I'm just looking forward to like how far I can take it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking forward to relocating, looking to move out west. So I'm looking forward to that and like going after those opportunities that have just been like literally waiting on me, and I just keep dragging my feet. But I'm just like I'm ready for change. That's just kind of where I'm at. Like
For sure.
it's time for a change, you know, in a lot of different aspects. Mentally, my own personal life, my location, the way I live life, the way I take care of myself. Like I'm ready to change, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to most. That's what 2025 is for me. Because when 26 comes around, yeah, it's shmoney time for sure. Like this is
it's big money the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's big money the rest of the year. What about like some clothes? You want to put some clothes out?
Yeah. Definitely working on that, but I don't want to talk about it too much until it's like already or like a working organism. Like it's definitely on the docket, but we'll definitely get into that when it's already when it's already working. But be on the lookout because we're about to go hard.
With that being said, the store FairlyDecentSupply.com is closed until March 1st. So everybody that was in the store last night at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, talking about, why'd you close it? Sorry, I gave y'all mad advance. The stuff is gone, it's sold, and I'm not doing anything until March 1st. That's my little promo. But I think this was a good episode, good conversation.
Yeah.
Some stuff to look forward to, some stuff to reflect on, some stuff that, we may not have talked about unless we were like sitting right here, because sometimes we just get lost in like being friends and all that, and we don't really get to have the conversation that, is needed sometimes. So I think this was a really good conversation. I appreciate you, C.
For sure, man. Likewise, bro.
Yeah.
First part of the year. Let's go.
First part of the year.
I like the transparency. Like, we don't gotta lie about nothing. Like, I'm gonna tell you how it is. Like, if I'm not okay, I'm gonna tell y'all, and I don't need to act like.
2025. Stop lying.
Facts.
Stop lying.
Facts.
Stop lying to your friends. Stop lying to your family. Stop lying to anybody.
To yourself.
Yourself.
Mainly. Yeah.
Yo, I appreciate you, man. This is the Fairly Decent podcast. All right, y'all. This is the Fairly Decent podcast. This is the Fairly Decent podcast. I'm JP. That's CJ.
Yes, sir.
We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace out. Woo!
I don't know what I was doing at the end. Like my machine cut off or something.